Time for another Man in Gray book review. Today's book is 10 Planet Stories by Yuri Herrera, translated from Spanish by Lisa Dillman and published by Grey Wolf Press in 2019. It's 112 pages. Yuri Herrera is a Mexican writer best known for his novel Signs Preceding the End of the World. This book, though, is made up of a collection of short stories, and some of them are very short. Many of them are only 3 or 4 pages, and some are only 1 page. They're science fiction stories with a twist of magic realism. They start off conventionally enough, but then they veer off in really unforeseen and unpredictable directions. There's a story about a strain of intestinal bacteria that develops human consciousness and becomes self-aware. There's a story about a smart house that develops a personality and becomes so angry with its occupants that it traps them inside. There's a story about a man who develops a sense of smell that's so powerful that he can tell anything and everything about a person just by smelling them. There's a story about an office worker who, when his shift starts, is transformed into a rat, and his coworker is transformed into a flea that goes along with him. There's a story about a planet that's made up entirely of muscle. And there's a story about a guy who walks across the Atlantic Ocean in the near future because the ocean is covered with a layer of trash, and so he's able to walk across the ocean all the way to Europe on a layer of trash. And then there's a story about an alien zookeeper who's bored with watching humans, and so he decides to try to breed humans with orangutans. And there's a series of little short stories that are kind of a running gag through the book about a bunch of sailors who are trying to explore the world, and every time they come to the end of the world, they run into a group of dragons. There are stories in here that are parodies of the Latin American writers Julio Cortázar and Jorge Luis Borges. So if you enjoyed those two writers, you'll certainly enjoy the stories in this book. It's also a book that you will enjoy if you are interested at all in science fiction. These are more. They're not really hard science fiction. They're more like science fiction fantasy type stories where, again, the stories go off in unforeseen, weird directions. They're quite humorous. Many of them are. Some of them are rather ominous and spooky, but they're very enjoyable and very intriguing stories, and, of course, very short, so you can read if you're in a hurry or you're waiting in an office or something, you read several of these real quickly. And, of course, it's a great book for those of you that are wanting to read more translated fiction. The book is 10 Planet Stories. The author is Yuri Herrera. This has been another Man in Gray book review. Thanks for watching.